Good afternoon, class. Today is Thursday, May 28th. Let's begin with language arts. Today, our musical mania is focusing on the song Those Magic Changes from Grease. I was in this musical a long time ago, like so long ago that I could not even find pictures if I tried. But I remember my mom and I sewed together a poodle skirt because it happens during the 50s. So, anyways, that's my side story. I do want you to listen to this song 3 times. You can either read the lyrics, you can listen to the song, or you can do them both at the same time. The first time you listen to this song, I lied. I only want you to do this 2 times. The first time, I want you to highlight anything that is an unknown word, as well as anything you see as an exemplar word choice. The reason I'm combining those first 2 steps into one is because there aren't too many complicated words in this song. This song is probably one of the easier musical manias we're going to do all year. The second time you listen to this song or read it or both, I want you to try to draw a picture of what you think is happening. So using our visualization strategy. Okay. So if you're at this point, I've assumed that you've paused this video, you've read the lyrics twice, you've listened to the video, you've highlighted good examples of word choice, you've highlighted in a different color words that you didn't understand so you could skip it and move on. Great. So number 1, the author uses the song he hears on the radio, A, to describe his love of music, B, as a way to compare the song for the love of the girl he met, C, as a metaphor for his happiness that the song is playing again, or D, as a simile for how he composes music about the girl he loves. I'm going to give the correct answer in 3, 2, 1. It is B. So the first thing I want us to understand is that this song is mostly about his failed romantic relationships. It is not really about music. He loves music, but that's really not what the main point of this song is about. It's about the changes he feels within himself about this girl that he wants to date. It's not a simile or D because it doesn't use like or as very much in this song. It's definitely not comparing it with like or as. It's not a metaphor because, again, that C focuses only on the music, not between his, romantic relationship. So the best answer for this is to compare the song to his love for a girl he met. Number 2, which of the following is an example of figurative language? So remember, this is not literal language. So which of these A, B, C, or D doesn't actually happen that way? A, my heart arranges a melody. B, oh my darling. C, what's that playing on the radio? Or D, while the bass is sounding, while the drums are pounding. I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is A. So he's not literally saying, again, imagine that actually happening that way. He's not saying, oh, I'm taking my heart out of my chest. My heart is arranging a melody. No, what he is saying is that his heart is what is inspiring. His love is what's inspiring the creation of this song. Oh my darling could literally happen that way. What's that music playing on the radio? Something we say all the time. While the bass is sounding, while the drums are pounding. He's just saying that the bass and the drums are playing music. Number 3, which of the following is not an example of an action verb? You know my strategy. Whenever I see not in a multiple choice question, I always circle it, highlight it, underline it. So what is not an action verb? Sends, fell, playing, or melody, which is not an action verb. It is 3, 2, 1, D, melody. And the way we can figure this out is because A, B, and C are all verbs, whereas melody is a noun. Number 4, in this play, there is often a verse included where the author explains how he plays the song on his guitar by singing C, 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 A minor, F, 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 G, 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 G7. So where do you think this phrase is inserted? Is it before the song begins, at the end of the song, in the middle of the song, or after the first stanza? 3, 2, 1. This is actually A, before the song begins. And how we know that is because he's talking about the song playing on the radio, right? It's telling us how he's playing that song, right? So before, they actually also repeat it after the first verse, so that would be an acceptable answer as well. Number 5, which of the following words could be best inserted to replace the phrase, why do I start swaying to and fro? A, why does it make me fall in love? B, why does this song make me want to start dancing? C, why do I feel like I've heard this song before? Or D, why do I like this song so much? I'm going to give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is B. Why does this song make me want to start dancing? Swaying to and fro is a way of saying swaying back and forth. Number 6, based on this song, we can infer. Remember, inferences, you can go back to that section in your Ultimate Language Notebook, but inferences mean that the author isn't telling us exactly what he wants us to take away, or she. It's telling us kind of some clues around it, and we have to use those clues to infer, to come up with our best guess, like a hypothesis. So based on the song, we can hypothesize, we can infer, we can guess. A, the singer met a girl and then lost her, making him lonesome now. B, the singer met a girl and fell in love with her, like he fell in love with the song on the radio. C, the singer is frustrated by the magic changes. D, the singer is devastated and never wants to see the girl he met again. I'm going to give you the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is A. And he talks about the times that she left him, and that's kind of why. And has been so, the key word here that I think really is the best text evidence for this is been so lonesome since our last goodbye, right? Number 7, what is likely to happen after the singer completes the song or finishes this song? That is for you to determine, you to guess based on your experiences. Today in Lightland, we will be reading chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 8, Solid Memories. Look at the quotes from the book and try to find the best synonym for each underlined word. Remember, synonym means same. And so syn means same, so synonym is 2 words that mean the same thing. So, number 1, again, if you're struggling with these, go back to that context clue section in your Ultimate Language Notebook and review our strategies. I really like the plug and chug method for this. Number 1, there were dozens of black and white photographs in tarnished frames. There was one of a tall man in a military uniform. What does tarnished mean? Number 2, Lottie was stunned, but she was unnerved. How can you know about Lightland? What does unnerved mean? Number 3, so he kicked off his shoes and dove after the boy. He still had on his jacket and knickers. What do we think knickers are in this sentence? Number 4, Umber seemed sure that Lottie was the one to do this, that her temperament and memory and stories might be all that she would need. What does temperament mean? And 5, the fortress was evidently the windmill, where Lottie and Lewis had left Lewis asleep on the spiraling stairs. She was happy to be heading straight for it, though she wasn't looking forward to hearing the disembodied voices again. Our comprehension questions for this chapter are, number 1, why do Lottie's father and teacher believe her story about Lewis? Does it surprise you? Number 2, on page 121, which I know you don't have access to the book, but just citing your sources, as we watched a study skills video the other day, all children know adults only believe what they want to believe. Do you think this is true? Write a real-life example of this happening to you or an example that shows how you disagree with what the author is saying. I think definitely for me, I related to this a lot as a child because my family all thought one way and I was definitely different. And I think they really wanted me to be an engineer kind of originally, and they really wanted me to think kind of the same way they did, but I wasn't the same thinker as them. And so I kind of had to accept that about myself. Number 3, what new information does Miss D'Avignon give Lottie about Lightland? Number 4, to get back to Lightland, Lottie has to think back to her earliest memory. What is the first thing you remember in your life? For me, I remember my brother Jason coming home from the hospital. And I remember that being my earliest memory because my mom was scared to let me hold him. And I remember thinking that was so weird because I held baby dolls all the time. Now that I'm older, I understand that I was 3 years old or 4 years old when that happened. So, it was very smart of my mom to not let me hold him. But I remember he was such a cute baby and he was so chunky, which is funny because now he's like the skinniest person who eats Taco Bell 3 times a day. So that's kind of my earliest memory. I don't know if that's a particularly important memory, but it's definitely something that's kind of kept the connection between my brother and I my whole life. This is my favorite quote from the whole book. No, it isn't safe. It's an adventure. There's no such thing as a safe adventure. And while I hope you're being safe, especially during this time, there is something to be said. And I think this quote really sticks with me because it's about taking risks, right? There's no adventure that doesn't involve taking risks. Maybe not putting you in physical danger, but maybe in emotional danger. When we talk about standing up for a bully, that might be an adventure, right? No adventure is safe. No adventure is without taking risks, but that particular adventure would be worth the payout of being able to stand up for someone else. The next chapter we're going to read is chapter 9, The Night King. Look at each of the quotes from the book to try to find the best synonym for each underlined word. Number 1, October looked extremely apprehensive, but was steadily creeping forward among the cloths, his nose twitching as though he were depending on the smell to lead him the one way they needed. Number 2, he silently lifted the cloth after cloth, sack after sack, but had no idea how to tell the powerful one from the decoy. What does decoy mean? Number 3, Lewis stood transfixed for some time, watching the fluid motion of the pictures that seemed to be woven in silk, even as they shifted and changed. What does transfixed mean? Number 4, it's a myth that was concocted by the creatures here in Lightland, the idea that I have no memory of my own. What does concocted mean? Number 5, that was enough. I've heard all I care from you, Lewis. Glad to know that you can speak. Not some genetic weakness I have to be concerned with. Just your own insipid eccentricity. What a great word choice. Oh my God, I love it. What does insipid eccentricity mean? For our comprehension questions for this chapter, number 1, what would it be like to lose all of your memories like the people of Lightland think of the Night King? Number 2, why do you think Lewis is finally able to speak? Spoiler, sorry. Number 3, why does the Night King study? What does the Night King study? Is this truly science? Number 4, what challenge does the Night King give Lewis? Do you think he was able to complete it? And number 5, if you were Lewis, what strategy would you use to tell which cloth would be the right one? I do want to go over the answers from yesterday. So, Chapter 6, Blue Sparks, Vocabulary. Hyperinflated, number 1, means bouncy, very inflated, very blown up. Number 2, berserk means crazy or insane. Number 3, momentum means movement, speed, or energy. Number 4, fraction means split second, small amount of time. When the question for comprehension said, what should Lottie tell her father and teacher about Lewis? Your answers were very. I remember the first time reading this, I definitely thought that she shouldn't tell her teacher and father, and obviously now I feel that she should. Number 6, what do you think Lottie should do? How would you feel in her shoes having lost your best friend? I would be so devastated. Like I said, my best friend is someone named Bethany, and, she and I have been apart for a really long time. We've lived in different states. I think collectively between us, we've lived in 10 or 12 different states in the past 7 years. We went to college together, and, she's actually texting me right now while I'm sitting here recording this video. And, she is such a support system in my life. And I think one thing I've gotten from books, and I hope to impart to you, is the importance of having really good friends. My mom always told me, you get to pick your friends, you don't get to pick your family. So especially when your family is driving you crazy during the coronavirus, remember the importance of having good friends and seeking out really good, honest friends when you have that opportunity again. Word detective, so chapter 7 vocabulary, a small new friend. Piercing means angry, bitter, able to go through. Proud means angrily moving, going about, terrorizing. Nausea means sick to your stomach, uneasiness. Beckon means called, waved to, asked to come over, signaled. Smoldering means burning or radiating. Vegetation means plant life, living things, bushes, trees, or grass. Comprehension, number 1. How do you think Lewis feels when seeing his father? That one's up to you. I would imagine he feels upset that his father abandoned him, and also kind of happy to know a little bit more about where he comes from in his own personal family history. And I know a lot of you can kind of relate to this, right? You don't really. Some of you have wonderful fathers, and some of you are very close with your parents, and that's amazing. Some of you I know have had really difficult relationships with at least one parent in your family, and so you can probably relate to how Lewis feels, that he is upset at who his father is, but not really able to do anything about it, and kind of feeling some kind of sense of comfort in knowing at least who this man is in his life. Number 2, how do you think the Night King will deal with Lewis being in Lightland? Will he try to recruit him for a scientific mission? Will Lewis convert him to evil ways? Your answers will be totally different based on how you read this story. Even though I'm reading it to you, your interpretation might be different depending on who you are and what your experiences are. So I wish we were in class to have a discussion about this, but I hope you're enjoying this book from home. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you for our last week of school. Can you believe it? On Monday? Bye!